Hey, what's going on?
Welcome back. Thinking Game Podcast.
Number 32.
32.
So today's podcast, we're talking about decisions and results. The overview of this is we're talking about nobody's perfect. We don't like we picking on somebody or something. We just want to instill in the youth that the earliest you can learn how to start making better decisions, really think about every step in your decision making, the better you can start becoming. You start being more efficient with your time. Just about anything you do when you make good decisions.
You know, we make the statement nobody's perfect, but people tend to use that as an excuse, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because you can be consistent. You don't have to be perfect, but to be consistent, right?
Or improve on what you've been doing.
That's true.
Make better decisions. You know what I mean? You don't. If you start out at an F, you know what I mean? Maybe next semester you get a D and so on and so forth.
That's right. Yeah. So the question of the day is to think about through all this is ask yourself is can you accept the results made after making a decision in order to move forward and improve your decision making? Repeat that one more time. Can you accept the results made from a decision in order to move forward and improve your decision making? I'll give you an example. Let's say I did a simple example, right? A decision, I'm driving my car and the check engine light come on and check the coolant. And I just say, nah, I ain't checking. I just keep driving. I don't never check it. Next thing you know, 2 weeks go by, and I blow the heads on my car. If I would have rectified that before those 2 weeks, would that have saved the blown head gasket? You know what I'm saying? Like, those are the kind of decisions like that. Keep putting stuff off. You know what I'm saying? Or you say you want to, somebody say, I'm going to go rob a bank. You rob a bank, you get 10 years federal time. Was that a good decision? You know what I'm saying? What drove you to make the decision to say, it's okay for me to rob a bank? Was it because somebody asked you? It's like a flow chart, right?
Yeah.
It's presented to you. Rob a bank. What's your next?
What's the next possibilities?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you have a split? If I say yes, we get caught, 10 years. If I say no, don't do it, am I going to get ridiculed? But guess what? I don't have to risk my freedom. You know what I'm saying?
Freedom, your life.
Because a lot of times, from growing up, from what I've seen is, even myself, if you don't accept that you made a bad decision, you'll keep operating in that and keep putting yourself in crazy situations because you can't realize that what you're making is a bad decision. So you think about Jim Jones, right? The dude who had the coat, something like that.
Oh, Kool-Aid guy.
Yeah. He didn't feel like he was making a bad decision.
Yeah.
All the way up until, I guess, he committed suicide, he probably realized, like,
that was deep.
I went over the top. But while he was in the United States and he was having people come, he didn't feel like he was making a bad decision, manipulating people. He didn't never feel like that was a bad decision.
It's what he wanted. You know what I mean? And he prioritized.
Yeah.
What he wanted, whatever he had to do. So his decision making was based on his wants and needs. To be powerful, whatever his motivations were. So decision making, you got to consider your motivations.
Right.
Is it coming from a place of trauma, need, necessity? You know what I mean? Desperation.
Yeah.
Did you think it out? Did you plan? Bad decisions just don't happen.
Right.
We're going to break down the before you make a decision.
Yeah.
The decision itself.
Right.
And after. What do you do after a bad decision?
Right.
I've seen some people get stuck on that in their whole lives. Like, man, if I hadn't have got that girl pregnant, if I hadn't have gone to prison. Right. Well, you went to prison and got out.
Right.
10 or 15 years ago, and you're still harping on that mistake. That person snitched on you, or that if that police wouldn't have pulled you over, you would have got away with it.
Right.
You didn't get away with it.
Right.
You did the time. Stop being salty, or move on, and whatever that looks like. You know what I mean? Sometimes, most times, after you make a bad decision, it's not over. You know what I mean?
Right.
How does that affect you, or the consequences? Sometimes, you know what I mean, you put those consequences on yourself.
Exactly. It's just some people ego, right?
Yes, sir.
Can you say I made a bad decision? Some people can't. Can you? You don't have to tell. I don't have to tell you. I just tell myself, dude, I didn't get that right. I messed up. I didn't make a good decision right there.
But I messed up because of them.
What I'm saying? Because with me being a jokester, you know what I'm saying, I may think in my head, oh, this is going to be a good joke. This is going to be then. This is going to change the game. And then I say the joke, and the joke is offensive to the other person. It's funny because you can't control how another person receive what you say. Exactly. You can only hope when you say something that it's going to be received as funny. But guess what? It's not received as funny. Now you got to deal with that. It's like, okay, so now, I have to rethink, how I do these things or what I say, or if I say anything at all, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like double down.
Right.
Well, I'm going to tell another joke. Right. Or I'm going to defend
this.
I'm going to defend this joke.
Right.
Like, it could be, hey, everybody tells a bad joke, right?
Right.
But you defending it and you getting offended.
Right. And if I don't accept that I made a bad decision, a poor judgment making that joke, I keep doing it. Yep. You know what I'm saying? I just keep doing it. And then that's when it becomes repetitive. That's when it becomes habitual. You know what I'm saying? Like if a person, like say robbing banks, you got to do is to go to jail 2 or 3 times. Like it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why would you want to waste 10 years of your life, robbing banks or whatever? But
because it was not my fault with the bank robbery. If I would have got that one thing right, I would have got away with it. So this time when I get out, I'm going to do that thing right, and it was going to be perfect. And guess what happens? Another thing goes wrong.
And then right before we get into the questions, this one thing I really want to tell to you. When you turn 17, 18, you graduate high school, it's all on you now. You can't blame nobody else. People try to say they try to blame parents, trauma, stuff like that. Okay, could be a factor, but at the end of the day, you still are held accountable for your decisions. Point example, you can't go to court and say, I shot the dude because of trauma. I had childhood trauma. Well, let me give you 30 years of therapy. Let me let you think about that. You know what I'm saying?
Whole hard therapy.
Yeah, let me let you think about that. You know what
with
I'm
some
saying?
people just like you. They had trauma too. You know what I mean? You can spend the next 30 years with them.
Yeah.
Your mental health, and this sounds very harsh, is your responsibility.
Yes.
The judge ain't going to take that in consideration. Mm-mm. Most of the time, sometimes your job will not either. You know what I mean?
No.
My mama didn't teach me to wake up. You know what I mean? So I didn't.
Right.
So I'm late for work. You know what I mean? I was beat as a child. You know what I mean? It's sad and it's unfortunate. I'm praying for you.
Right. What if
you
don't get to work at 8 o'clock?
That man,
it's a dog world, man.
And they want their mortgage. They want their loan payment.
It's a dog world. Remember that song?
Yeah, it's not.
All right. The first question that we're gonna get into is, what is the thought process when you make a good decision? That's easy, right? You make a good decision, you're like, you know.
I do it all the time.
And is a good decision, is that subjective? Or is it objective? Because sometimes you growing up in the inner city, sometimes what you think a good decision, in reality, it may not be a good decision.
It's your motivation.
Yeah.
Motivation is your motivation. Self-preservation.
Yeah.
Is this good decision good for me? It's good for me, not for him. I broke in your house. It's good. It's a payday for me.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a bad day for you.
Right.
So one man's good decision is another man's bad day.
Exactly. You make good decisions. You just feel like you just made a good decision. You just feel like I keep going. I'm winning. You know what I'm saying? So.
And what is a good decision? Something that a positive decision that has positive outcomes.
Benefits everybody around
you.
Yeah.
That's
because either good or bad, it's going to affect everybody around you. You know what I'm saying?
Consequences.
Bottom line.
Isn't necessarily a bad word.
No. No, it's good consequences too.
You know what I mean? Well, we call them pros, benefits. You know what I mean? Gains.
And then our second question is, what is the thought process when you make a bad decision? Now here's the part right here with the ego part, right?
I really the difference between a good decision, bad decision, I think is after. What do you do to improve your decision making after a bad decision?
Well, see, here's the thing, right? You know, nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you make a mistake and you can acknowledge that was a bad decision, most of the time, I know for me, sometimes when I make that mistake, even if I get even close to it again, I can recognize, like, wait a minute, you know what I'm saying? Some people, I think we was able to see ourselves on both sides of the fence. We were able to see ourselves good and bad. We was able to see the kind of some of the worst of ourselves because we didn't have the hedge when we was in high school because, like I said, we didn't go to college, so we dealing with adults. But you get to, a lot of people don't get to see themselves. I guess what I'm saying, you can see yourself in, like, you can go either way. You can make bad decisions and keep going, or you can make good decisions and keep going. You can know how crazy it can get. Some people don't know how crazy it can get, so they never really understand, like, sometimes bad decisions can be like the domino. You hit that one domino and it knock down 5 or 6 dominoes.
Yes.
So you have to be careful about that. But you have to know, let's say, if I say, okay, I want to get some Jordans, but I know that I got to pay rent, I got to pay my light bill, I got to do this. But I go buy the Jordans anyway. I thought about what I was supposed to do, but for some reason I still went about the Jordans when I know I need to pay my bills. That's a bad decision. You know what I'm saying?
You think that it's an acceptable risk?
Right.
That's guaranteed. You know you're not going to make your rent. You know what I mean? If you spend that $300.
That's called rationalizing, right? That's what most people do bad shit. Rationalize. Because when you think about, like, say, we was talking about Jim Jones or David Koresh, right?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't think they was doing anything bad until, like, say, when it's time for them to pay the piper, they end up killing themselves. But a lot of times, people that do stuff like that, manipulators and people like that, they don't think they're doing anything bad. Cause these are like subtle things, right? Mm-hmm. These are things that don't just really stick out. You know what I'm saying? And people, you know, they watch these documentaries about like the pimps and all that.
Yeah.
Most of the time, those dudes are not bad. They're very charismatic people, man. You know what I'm saying? They don't think they're doing nothing bad, man.
The possibility of the gain, in their mind, it's worth the consequence.
Right.
Because the consequence ain't gonna happen. Like, when I do it, like, it's like buying a lottery ticket and expecting to win.
Right.
But the consequence is not you just lose $5.
Right.
You know what I mean? You get jail time or people get hurt.
Right.
When your motivation is selfish or evil,
right.
You don't care about the decisions like that.
So I got a question. This is one of the things that it could go either way. People they kind of argue this stuff. I don't remember, because I guess my mind worked different. When somebody say they fall in love, is that a decision or is it automatic, like a subconscious? That's the thing that kind of throw that. Like, I don't know. To me, it's like a decision. You have to factor some things in before you make that decision. But maybe I'm just technical like that. My brain working like that.
You know I really want to say, yeah, it's a decision, right? You know what I mean? You taking all the factors in this decision, right?
So do you make the decision that fast where you don't really slow it down the process, though?
Yeah, and I want to say that, but I think some people choose people they.
But a choice is a decision, right?
No. I mean, I'm going against it because I say, you know what I mean, I should be in love with this person. I've been dating them, or I've been in the courtship process with them. They check all my boxes. They have money. They're pretty, but I just don't love them. I'm trying to love them. I'm choosing but I don't have the butterflies for that person.
I'm saying, when people say love at first sight, then they end up being like some crazy relationship.
No, but you know what I mean? I'm just going on the other side. You can't make yourself love someone. So you can't make this decision, I'm going to love this person. If it's not there, it's not there.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think love is a thing. You can choose not to be in it, but I don't think you can choose to be in it.
I think you can.
Like, so, you know, like...
I think that before you even get to the point of loving a person, you need to factor in am I suitable? Are we suitable for each other?
But I think that's the thing. I'm suitable for this person.
You think so?
I think I'm suitable. I mean, well, I'm just saying
No, that's the
you.
thing. What makes them suitable? That's what I'm saying. Like in people's heads, like what makes them suitable? Like I got a play chart. Like NFL, I got a chart. Like what makes this person suitable, right?
Yeah, like okay, so let's say I got the chart, right?
Yeah.
And they check all the boxes. They suitable for me. They like the same things I like. You know what I mean? They hold me accountable. We have a healthy relationship. I'm attracted to this person. But you just don't feel that emotional love. So what do you do then? I don't think you can choose to like love a person like that. Because the paper says I should love them.
No, I'm saying like before you fall in love with a person, like let your guard down or whatever, be vulnerable to fall in love with a person. Like the tendency stuff, like not the stuff you check on the paper, but I'm talking about their personality, stuff that you can't control. Like, you know, this person is selfish, or this person could put you in a situation. You know how some people like it's like drama always around them. That kind of stuff. That's what I'm saying.
No, you're talking about the bad side, right?
No. I'm talking about. To me, it's not bad. It's their characteristic. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't think it's bad. Some people There's always got drama. They don't think it's a bad thing. They just feel like that's their life. You know what I'm saying? Am I lying?
No, yes, that's all life. And they feel like a prism. I didn't choose to fall in love with this toxic individual. You know what I mean? With these bad characteristics. But just like you don't choose to be in love with somebody that's not good for you, they have all these toxic traits. You can't make yourself fall in love with somebody with good traits that's good for you. That's, you know what I mean? That's why I stand on it's not a choice, because you will just choose the best person for you, and then it will be easy.
I know that, and I think that's how most of the world works. I think it's a choice, but that's just my opinion because I'm put myself out there, but in my 20s, when you go through the amusement park, you choose what rides you want to ride, right? Yeah. It's like with food, you choose what you want to eat. You go to McDonald's, I want a number one, I want a Big Mac with no pickles, so whatever, you know what I'm saying? For me, it's the same thing with like, before I meet this person, like even with my wife, like she asks me about different stuff all the time, and I tell her like, I had to study you, I had to see before I put myself in that frame, I had to see, is this a person I can build with? Or is this a person that's, like I told her, you're not, if you was the type of woman that will put me in situations, it's like, you know how some girls will put you in a situation where you need to do something about that. And then you go do that, now you in jail for 2 years for assault, simple assault. You know what I'm saying?
But you made me feel safe.
Yeah, but how are you safe I'm in jail though? You see what I'm saying? Like you don't have logical sense.
The next man, that's the next man.
But that's what I'm saying. It's stuff.
Tag him in.
It's stuff like that. Like her being a mother, like
it takes a village.
She didn't want to. She made that sacrifice of bearing our kids. You know what I'm saying? Some girls you could tell like if she was pregnant with kids, she would still do this. She's not gonna make that sacrifice. Am I telling the truth?
Yeah,
this is the kind of stuff you need to realize.
They didn't put down alcohol, cigarettes, weed, crack, meth,
that's what I'm saying.
even though they were pregnant.
Right.
But I see what you're saying. You're saying it's a choice to be vulnerable or open yourself up to love.
Right.
So you were not saying the love is the choice.
It's a choice.
You're saying opening yourself up for love is a choice.
Right. Before you fall in love, is this a person to fall in love with? That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Some people like, well, I'm just gonna ride the ride a couple times,
That's
and
fine.
Then when they ride the ride, they accidentally fall in love or they accidentally get sick. I got on a ride. I didn't know I was gonna throw up. Throwing up was a choice, but effects of this ride that I was on made me feel a certain way. So that's when you were saying that earlier. You don't need to be riding. You know what I mean? Unless you planning on committing to that ride.
Right.
But
because nobody has all perfect traits, right? I mean, I understand that, but what I'm saying is, I'm not gonna fall in love with somebody that's not gonna.
What do you do when a person has the right traits for you, you open up yourself for love in that person, but you don't feel it. You don't feel really nothing for them. They got.
How did you open yourself up for love? You're not feeling it though. That's
No,
to
but-
me that's crazy.
Okay, you know what I mean.
Like, how do you know? Like,
But love will automatically like that to you. You know what I mean. I seen people fall out in love, and that's they didn't choose to fall out of love.
to me, that's a mindset though, right?
See, yeah,
If
I
you
mean,
fall out of
think-
love, like in my mind, like once I made my mind up and made a vow to my wife, I mean, the Bible talk about forgiveness, right? How many times should I forgive somebody? Guess what? 77 times 7. Right?
I'm not good at math.
I'm just saying, but in one man, he just said you should just forgive, right?
Okay, but
Because at the end of the day, when you get married, I can't have unrealistic expectations and expect that my wife's gonna marry me and never make a mistake.
yes.
That is unreal. You know what I'm saying?
But you're thinking you're approaching this situation as mentally, right? You know what I mean? Your mind, logically, right?
Yeah, and I think that's why maybe because I'm more of a logical person than I am.
But what about your heart? Following your heart.
You said what?
Following your heart.
There's a lot of people out there following their heart. You see where we at now because they follow their hearts.
They're laying the destruction.
I got a flow chart. I'm more of a flow chart guy. I'm not a heart guy. I'm more of a flow chart.
But you know what I mean? Like that's what you can choose what situations you want to be in. You can choose.
But that's the thing. People say they
That's
don't
your
choose.
heart.
They just fall in love. They're not saying they choose.
But that's what they're saying. Their hearts are not in it. You know what I mean? Their heart doesn't love this person. Their mind loves them.
No, they're saying their heart love them, but their mind don't.
Yeah,
That's what it sounds like they're saying to me.
Vice versa.
Because if you use your mind, you be like, wait a minute, this person ain't gonna, this puzzle piece
But they don't
fit.
do that for me. They don't make me feel the butterflies.
You said what?
They don't make me feel butterflies.
I'm not
so
tripping.
I
I don't care about the butterflies. That's nothing. I'm saying,
But
can
that's
we live
everything.
together? Like, are we suitable to live together?
But that's
That's what I'm saying. Like, how
is,
does this
is
person?
that love? What that's comfort, compromise, and a successful, effective partnership, relationship, friendship. But what
But-
about the love?
That's what I'm saying. But before,
What about happily?
But it's a
ever
song that
after?
say, "What's love got to do with it?" It's after love, like after love breakdowns, the fundamentals. Like, can we live together? You know what I'm saying? Or is she dominant or am I dominant? Then we gonna butt heads. I'm talking about stuff like that. Before you fall in love, can we coexist together?
Yeah.
Yes or no? I'm telling you, that's what you got to answer. Hey, can we coexist
But
together?
we
Yes.
can coexist together, but we don't have. We're good partners, but we don't have that love, that passion, that fire. What does
So
that mean?
why are we taking the next step then if we don't?
No, I mean we're
No, well, that's what I'm saying. How logical? That's what
I
I'm
mean,
saying.
yeah, but what if we fall out of it? You know what I mean? We had it at first. Now we have.
How do you fall out? That's what I'm saying. To me, that's almost like a mindset. Cause it's work. Marriage is work. It's not automatic. You can't put on cruise control. You have to build it. You have to keep building. It's not like a thing and you like, okay, I'm done building. It's gonna last forever. It don't work like that. It just don't. With two people, we talking about two people now. A man and a woman get on each other's nerves all the time. It's impossible. It's impossible not to get on somebody's nerves, right? You live.
But but I deserve to be happy, right? You know what I mean?
But you gotta have realistic expectations as well.
But money don't make me happy.
I'm
Partnership.
not talking about money. But I ask people like this:
But
does
the
it make you
butterflies
happy?
make me
Does it make you happy to demoralize everybody in the house? Does that make you happy? Some people are like that. It makes them happy to demoralize everybody around them in their presence.
Yeah,
That makes them happy.
Yeah.
So if you can't recognize that, why would I take the next step with a person that wants to do that? You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. It's stuff like
but
that
like,
that you can't hide. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no. When you can make the right informed decision, the person that's right for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But that's a choice, right?
Yes, everything is. We talking about decisions.
But but what your heart feels, you don't choose. Well, like okay,
Because your heart changes.
yeah,
Right or wrong.
exactly. When your heart changes, when you
Why
don't
does
feel
it
that
change? Though?
love.
But if you make a vow and you say this is what I'm gonna be with.
So we gonna stay in marriage partnership where you don't feel.
But that's the thing. If you're in a marriage, I don't know. I just say in a marriage partnership. I don't. If you got two people with the mindset that we gonna work it out. That's like we talked about another podcast, resolution, right? How do you work it out? Some people have this fixed in their head, like if this happens, it ain't no working out. It's done.
Yeah.
If you go in a marriage like that, that's you already killing yourself. You already hanging yourself because that's probably gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, of course.
You know what I'm saying?
But like,
and that's what I'm saying. You have to realize that.
Okay.
Some girls like, well, if a dude do this, then I ain't gonna be with him no more. Is that being realistic? And getting married?
But I mean, where you are in the decision making, logically.
And I say this too.
You say love is a choice, right?
Yes.
All right. I'm choosing to resolve the problem.
If a girl meets
resolution, right?
If a girl meets a man and he's not working, he's not showing no signs of working, he's just a lay on the couch kind of dude, and she falls in love with him, and she see this, and she falls in love with him, is that a bad decision?
To me, yes.
But she'll say that she fell in love. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay.
Did she ignore what she saw? Did she ignore what she saw? If girl X, did girl X ignore what she saw from guy Y? Did she ignore that he's not working, he's not trying to work?
She chose love.
No, but did she ignore what she saw? That's what I'm saying. I
think you're confusing a successful relationship with love, period.
So do you need to look at, is this relationship going to be successful before you fall in love?
I think so.
But it sounds like you're saying, it sounds like you're going the opposite. That's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like.
No, I'm just showing you that
I know what you're saying.
The emotional self and the logical self, the brain and the heart, sometimes are disconnected.
That's what I'm saying. So can you, before you get emotional?
Okay, let's say before you even let this person try out for the relationship.
Right.
You see it ain't gonna work. They don't even have a chance. Mm-hmm. Right. So yeah, you can choose who you allow in your space. So if you choose and filter who you allow in your space, you basically control who you love, because the people that are bad for you don't have a chance of falling in love with you. But we're just talking about, right, can you make a decision, or can your brain control your heart? So I place in the scenario, well, what if you already chose love? This is the person for you. They're right for you. Everything is going good. You chose, y'all have a conflict or whatever. And then that feeling changed. You didn't change that feeling on purpose. Now you don't feel a certain way about your business partner, your spouse, your child. You know what I mean? So you don't feel that way about them. That person wants peace and resolution in their marriage, but they don't feel it anymore. So that feeling, I don't think they have a choice on their feeling. They have a choice on whether they stay or whether they go, but they don't have a choice. So you don't have a choice on how you feel. An example, not choosing your feelings, right? Let's say my grandma dies, right? I'm sad. I can't tell myself my grandma is going to a better place. John, don't be sad. Because I'm going to be sad whether I know, logically I know she's going to a better place. Logically I know old people die and things like that, or sick people die. I know that I'm making a choice not to be sad, but I'm still crying. I'm still sad.
Yeah, that's called grieving, though.
But
so let me ask you
all
this.
emotion. You can't control love. You can control the opportunity for love.
But let me ask you this. When you're talking about you fall out of love, you said things change. Can you tell if a person, what do we call it? Called wishy-washy, right?
Hey.
Can you tell that before you meet somebody? Like when you meet somebody, you get to know them. Can you tell?
Well, people change.
And people be consistent, right? A person's inconsistent. Can they hide it? If a person's inconsistent, can they hide that they're inconsistent? If you be around a person for 6 months, can you tell if that person is inconsistent?
Most of the time you can. But it's some stuff like they develop, you know what I mean, over time, or they.
But if a person is inconsistent, can they? I'm just saying.
So you basically trying to tell me I should know whether this person's going to stay in love with me for 10, 20 years in the first 6 months of their consistency.
No. What I'm saying is their personality is their personality. That don't change. Okay. If a person is inconsistent and they always swim with the wind, they probably not gonna stay with you for 20 years. Can you agree with that? Or am I looking at that wrong?
Yes, but
so do people ignore that, or do they say I'm just gonna ride with what this person is because I really like this person?
Both.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, that can be a decision in itself.
Like me and my wife, we are
everybody who has ever got a divorce, they saw it in the beginning.
I don't know what that's the thing. Like
that's something, what I'm saying.
And that's what I'm saying. Would they even tell you the truth that they made a bad decision? The people who got divorced. Because if you're willing to work it out, would you really get a divorce?
Okay, you willing to work it out, y'all get together. But what I'm just saying is the feeling aspect of it.
Well, see, that's the thing. Now, at some point, there has to be some logic involved instead of just feeling. Because we just said feelings change, right?
Yeah, I mean,
that's all I'm saying.
But so. That's where we are with this. Like, choosing love. Is love a choice? Y'all tell us.
Yeah, hit us in the comments. Let us know.
Is love a choice?
Because
you know what I mean?
in my 20s.
Can you fall out of love? You know what I mean? Can you control what your heart feels? Or is it a mental thing?
If your love is based on emotion and sex, it's just emotional, I don't know. Maybe you can. But
you know what I mean?
Do you just love that about a person? Do you love this person's personality, or do you just?
It's love. Is love an emotion, or is it a thought, or thought process, or actions?
That's what the song says. Who needs a heart? Who needs a heart when the heart can't be broken? And you need more than just love for marriage, though.
Yeah, but
you do.
But okay, let's say we got everything but the love.
Why would you even be with a person?
But that's what fell out.
Now I say you need more than love. Love is just a part of the pie.
No. Well, let's say we got the pie. We got most of everything in the pie, but the love piece is missing. That in love feeling. So you saying you can control that in love feeling?
Okay, I got a question right here. We probably even skip this whole time. We had 30 minutes. Okay, now let's say. How am I gonna phrase this? If a person believes something, and you tell them something that even if it's true, they don't want to believe that, because if they believe that, now they have to change the way they think. You think that's pretty?
I don't think it's easy.
I'm not saying it's not easy, but I'm saying it's like we was talking about with forgiveness, right?
Yeah.
Some people think their forgiveness is conditional, right?
Yes.
Huh?
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, but if you both agree on the Bible and you show them where it's not conditional, you just say forgive. Most people think forgiveness, but they don't realize it's really for your health.
Oh no, yeah, I mean yes.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, most people they'll hold on to stuff for so long, and if you hold grudges, you hold on to stuff, marriage is gonna kick your butt.
But you know what I mean, thing like that. Let's say you forgive, but what you don't forget, right? That's the saying, right? You forgive, you don't forget, right. You still feel,
right?
But it takes.
I think it takes being with somebody that loves you that much, that forgives you, and don't hold it over your head, though.
But what if you don't hold it over your head with your actions, but you still feel a certain way inside?
But you're still doing it. But that's it. And see, that's the thing. You're not being honest with yourself and saying that I'm making a bad decision by doing that, though.
But like you don't hold, like you're saying you can control how you feel. Like I'm hurt.
No, I'm not saying you can't control how you feel, but I'm saying you can have a logical flow chart to get through the feelings, though, right or wrong.
But it'll lead you to a good place. But sometimes your feelings.
And everybody's not built the same. Some people, like I said, I think I'm weird because some people really like you know. I guess when you experience death early, you kind of learn how to process through those things, maybe a little bit different than other people.
I don't have a problem with death like this.
No, I'm just saying, but some people do.
That's God's choice.
Yeah. No, I don't have a problem with death. I'm saying processing the feelings and stuff like that.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, when my dad died after that, I mean, the death like that, it just started not to be the same. It just started getting desensitized almost to it. So it don't affect me. Like my grandma, that probably was the last one that really affected me, but it wasn't like devastating like losing your actual parent, though. I don't know.
Yeah, R.I.P. Dad, I love you.
Yeah, so, you know what I'm saying? Losing your pops, man, it's pretty crazy. Especially at 12, it's pretty crazy. But, and then, like say, dealing with women, you know, when I was 20s, good God. I mean, I don't think, like, before I met my wife, I only tried to settle down really one time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I mean, like,
but I learned from all of them. I kind of learned like what I don't like, what I'm not fit to put up with. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes that's rough. Some people think you mean for that. You know what I'm saying? But guess what? I'm not gonna put up with it. I mean, it's certain personality traits and certain things people do that it's okay if you do it. I'm not judging you. I'm just saying I don't want to live the rest of my life dealing with stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
And then I mean, so many people didn't want to live the rest of their life dealing with your personality,
definitely,
or flaws.
And I totally agree.
Yeah,
I totally agree.
If you can't live with me
agree.
being me, that's something that's just not working out.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And you know what I mean? And that's a big key in your decision making. And like you were saying, laying down with somebody or having a kid with somebody with you don't agree with their decision making, thought process, or any of that. Like, is that a bad decision? You know what I mean? You can't pick who you fall in love with or agree to disagree, but you can pick who you have a baby with. You can pick your baby daddy. You can pick your baby mama. You know what I mean? And when you engage in those activities, sometimes things, you can't. Yeah, sometimes things happen by accident. You know what I mean? When you engage in certain activities, it's precautions you can take. You know what I mean? Not taking those precautions is a bad decision, or maybe to you is an acceptable risk. But that's a lifetime thing. You know what I mean? We got, 30 seconds, 45 minutes can have you raising somebody for 30 years. That 18 stuff, like, they're your child forever. You have a child, that's going to be your child until you die.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they going to get your stuff after you die. So let's talk about a process of thinking, right? Something that just happened. You know what I'm saying? It's public. I just want to beat the guy up, but with the Brett Favre thing, right? Oh, yeah.
Was that
decision
making, right? I don't know, was he presented with it? He was presented with opportunity to get millions. And so instead of saying, nah, I'm good, I don't need that, he sent a text and said, what was the text?
Hey, man, the media not going to find out about this, right? Because I don't want to get in any kind of trouble.
So
there's a being dot. There's not a direct quote. You know what I mean? I don't know the specifics.
But the thinking part is the flow chart. Instead of him saying, nah, I'm good, I don't want to do that.
If you
he kept going.
People, if you got to do that, this kind of disclaimer.
Yeah.
If you with somebody, blind date, or you getting something in the back alley.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Somebody, I got this box that fell off in the truck. If you got to say, if somebody going to find out about this, and if they do, you probably don't need to make
First of all, you can't move that kind of money and somebody not find out. It's not like me giving him $1. We talking about millions of dollars. Like, it's a wire transfer. It's a trail. That's a big trail to move $1 million. I mean, you're not even moving physical money. I mean, that's like, and it goes into another account. You think that's not a trail? You got to wire transfer that. You know what I'm saying?
And that's going to be visible forever. You know what I mean? Somebody can track that data and stuff like that. And it's just a crazy, like, what people consider bad or bad decision is what's notable, what's newsworthy. You know what I mean? Somebody can buy lobster with the EBT card. You know what I mean? And that's World War III.
Right.
Somebody, misappropriate.
Think about the
$5
privilege.
million.
Think about the privilege. Like, just to think that I could do this to get away with it. You know what I'm saying? Just to think, like, I could take $1 million and who's gonna say something about it? You know what I'm saying?
Because you can't, if you got money, you can't steal, right? If I got millions, I can't steal, right?
I don't know. That's how
rich people don't steal.
Rich dad, poor dad. My rich dad said, I take everything I can get. Poor dad probably wouldn't do it. My rich dad said, I'm going to take everything I can get.
You know what I mean?
Even though I got millions, I take those millions too.
I'm going to skip out on a check. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So a lot of times in life, they watch the poor people with the hawk eye. You know what I mean?
Right, they do.
Rich person can steal a silverware.
That's true.
You know what I mean? You're not gonna blame him. Why?
Because your guard down.
He has $10 million. Why would he? Steal a sterling silver fork?
Boy. So this is for the youth. Do you think it's a good decision or bad decision to make a strategy or plan on how to move in life? What do you think?
And it's never too early to do that.
Because I think some people, they don't like to just sit down and write out what their plans are. because now you gotta hold yourself to it.
And are people gonna hold you to it? They're gonna be, hey, didn't you want to be a singer? And didn't you want to build houses? Didn't you want to be an architect? You know what I mean? And if you never tell nobody, somebody, you can't let them down, right?
That's true. That's
you know what I mean? They don't have. You'll just surprise them when you do it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And then you think of some of the stuff dude tell girls when we was younger. Some of the stuff dude would tell girls. Even I know I just said some crazy stuff. Just selling dreams is the best. A dude tell a girl in college, they freshmen in college, I'm gonna get engaged to you now, but we're gonna get married when we graduate college.
That's a long adventure.
It's a bad decision if you believe it. Maybe some dudes do that. I don't know. I'm saying the percentage of that being completed. I'm saying the percentages of that being executed. I'm saying it's probably 20% chance that they're gonna be executed. Yeah. We talking about freshman all the way to senior.
That's
if you do 4 years, some people do 5 or 6 years.
Hey, everybody in training camp want to go undefeated.
What's that?
Everybody in training camp.
Yeah, but you want to give yourself the best chance to win, though.
You know what I mean?
That's all I'm saying. Give yourself the best chance to win. Some of the stuff girls tell dudes. Some of the girls tell. I know we knew girls that would only talk to dudes when the new movie came out. So that means they would only call a dude when the new movie come out, take them to the movies. Oh, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, let me call so-and-so because I know he can take me to the movie because the new Marvel movie came out. So let me call him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, this kind of stuff happened when we was in our 20s, man. When we say dating is not fair, man. It's not. So.
Yeah, man. It's rough out there. You know what I mean? Making those decisions like giving promise rings, you know what I mean? It's not quite an engagement ring, but it's a promise.
A promise ring.
You know, I promise.
That's crazy.
When I get done doing whatever I'm doing, it's gonna be you.
Boy. And yeah, I know I done heard a lot of feelings, man. So I'm talking from a place of experience. I done heard a lot of feelings, man. Made a lot of people mad, so my girl's mad, so. But dudes say some crazy stuff and they bad decisions, man. It's not good. Some dudes get their windows busted out, so get their tires slashed, man. And
you know what I mean? Some brothers don't want to let stuff go. Women, you know what I mean? You sitting
that's true.
outside in the bushes, you know what I mean? It's
that's
1 o'clock in the morning, you know what I mean?
That's crazy.
I'm going to get her, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And she sitting pouring paint in her car, you know what I mean? With her and a couple of her homegirls, you know what I mean?
Remember that woman that was definitely a bad decision. She put gasoline in the back of that car and lit it and it blew back and blew.
Bad idea.
Bad decision. And she probably was thinking about that the whole day. When I'm going to put gas in the back of the car, I'm going to light it. Boy, I'm going to light that joke up like a Christmas tree. And she lit it like a Christmas tree.
I don't
it just
know
blew it back.
If any of y'all like grill or lighter fluid and gasoline is very different.
Oh, yeah.
The heat,
when
the fire don't touch you when you light it, it's so hot. Yeah. It'll burn your burnt my eyelashes off before. Like my eyelashes like rolled up. Like,
looking like a fashionista with no eyebrows, man.
Like the lash. You know what I mean?
Scorch.
like melted like candle wax. And the fire didn't touch me. It just poof. All the hair on my arm.
Did touch you, just couldn't process it.
Just the heat. All the hair on my arm curled up
like
and it's
melted
smoky.
wax. Yeah.
Like it's like ants. It's just like I dusted it off. That fire touched that woman.
Boy.
Like it deleted her eyebrows, her eyelashes, all that little hair. Like the first layer of skin just was She started business.
Hanging off like melted cheese at Waffle House. You know, put that melted cheese on hash browns. Face like melted cheese, man.
Ooh,
you want those hash browns scrambled?
But you know what I mean? Operating in emotions will have you making decisions like
that.
My
God, yes.
Operating in disrespect, you know what I mean? Some stuff, like really as a man, some stuff you can't let ride and some stuff you have to act behind.
Yeah. And see, I made a decision like that when my dad passed because I made a decision like, I don't want to be violent, man. But making that decision, the stuff that comes with that decision is you're going to be considered weak. People going to look at you like you're frail or whatever. And it's like, they don't realize like, you may do it, it may not affect you, that I may do it and taste. I might turn into a Kodiak bear. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I may break somebody's arm, and they may be like, oh, I like this. I really like this. You know, it's kind of like unlocking that door that you don't know what's behind it. Yeah. And then, but when you open it, it's like, now I can't leave out. I can't leave out now. I'm stuck. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be careful about different things you unlock in your life. You know what I'm saying?
And you know what I mean? Things like, well, if I let a man disrespect me, or is he gonna, are they gonna say, hey, he can't protect his family, I can do anything, I can boy him, I can punk him, it's sweet over there, I can disrespect him, his family, his wife, his children, and there will be no retaliation or no actions, you know what I mean? That's what I'm going to do. So how can you protect your family with no reputation? You know what I mean?
Right.
And violence, right? Like
that's only happen when you're younger, though. It's like when you turn into an adult, man. That's what I tell kids. So when you turn into an adult, unless you just living like in the, in the straight drop in the hood. I mean.
Oh well, you know what I mean. Yeah. When some churches are, like high school or petty drama field, but.
We talk about that.
Or some workplaces. I seen, you know what I mean, spouses at workplaces, fighting, you know what I mean, their husband's boss or secretary and things like that. But I noticed about being violent, even in the past, even when you were a child, that person you slapped in 10th grade, you know what I mean, that person you beat up at the club in your 20s. Yeah. They don't forget that stuff.
They don't.
You know what I mean? That could be your boss. Your kid could go to school with their kids. When you do something like that, the person keeps living. You keep living, and you maybe evolve, are more peaceful.
Right.
You know what I mean? God loving. You're a Christian now.
Right.
But they still remember that person who beat them up, slapped them, stole their car, robbed them, pulled a gun on them. So. And you can't choose how they react. And you can't choose how long they remember what you did to them.
That's true.
So, you know what I mean? My son might have to pay for something I did 20 years ago.
Boy, that happened in real life too.
Because I did something to that man's, to that man or his brother or his family. He dead, but his brother or cousin remember what I did or what I said to them. I said a lot of stuff.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I've done some things like, you know what I mean? People's like, man, you know what I mean? Hey, you remember when you slapped dude, you beat dude up, and then it's like, can I send him a postcard? You know what I mean?
Yeah. A piece cake?
You know what I mean? No hard feelings. You know what I mean? Because like, say you level up, right? You're a lawyer now.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that dude still ain't got nothing to lose. You know what I mean? He in the hood or vice versa. You work at Kroger.
Right.
And this man is a lawyer or a judge.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Happens all the time.
You used to slap him up. You ran in his house. You know what I mean? Slept with his wife, whatever. Now you in this man's court.
Boy.
You know, now you trying to
beg for mercy.
Yeah.
You want mercy, right?
Yeah, he's on a parole board. You know what I mean? Ooh. And you want a second chance at life, you know what I mean, about being a thug. So, stuff you do as a freshman in college, you know what I mean? You was at a little college party and you slapped that man.
Right.
Or women, you slept with that girl's boyfriend. Now, that was her fiance 20 years ago.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? And she's in a certain sorority and you're in another one, or you are not affiliated, you know what I mean? And her boss is in that sorority. Like, you think she ain't gonna say, oh, I remember her, 20 years ago. Like, sometimes people don't let go the things you do.
Yeah, they don't. That's
so,
true.
You know what I mean? Sometimes your decisions have consequences years later.
That's true, definitely.